Thank you for tuning in to the ProQuest Gauntlet series. We hope your excitement is building not only for ProQuest season, but also for some premiere events coming up soon. Find more details on fabtcg.com. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another installment of Sant Takes Over, the ProQuest Gauntlet series here on the LSS YouTube channel. So this is a really cool one because I'm joined today by a good friend of mine, Yuanji, who you see everywhere all across the world of events. What are you known for most? Like the calling win in Europe?
Tier lists that I post on Twitter. There's a face that I make.
Right.
You'll put it in the thumbnail or something.
Damn right.
We'll show it.
But it's really great to have you here, and we're showing off a pretty cool matchup today, Levia versus Briar, because it's a deck with a lot of raw numbers on both sides of the table, but Briar has the hit effects, Levia doesn't. Levia just has the raw damage.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to dive in deep on which deck just can present more than anything going into this ProQuest season. Yep. Can a Levia deck that's built around a lot of Go Again overcome Briar, who's naturally getting all these things rolling with her embodiments and just Go Again, 0 for 4s, all kinds of good stuff. So to jump into what I'm thinking about in this matchup specifically, there's a lot of on-hits coming from the Briar, right? Mm-hmm. So the armor suite I'm trying to take into you is very block heavy. So we've got Crown, Carrion Husk, Skull Crushers, and Scab Skins. And the main thing to note is that by taking Skull Crushers, I don't get the Gambler's Gloves, but I'm really valuing that one Battle Worn because something like a Snatch coming in that comes in for 4 is just going to demand like a 3-card block and then just the toss in of Skull Crushers. So I can still roll if I need to get lucky. Skull Crushers even rewards you if you get really lucky on Scab Skins, but my game plan is definitely to respect blocking a little bit more than normal in this kind of matchup. So we're leaving out some of these other cards that are more for our Wizard matchup, and then the Gamblers when I'm not expecting so many hit effects from the opponent. As far as the deck itself, what we're really trying to do with this Levia build, it's like an all gas, no brakes version of Levia, where we are building around as much Go Again as we can, backed by cards like Berserk. So Berserk combos really well with all of the really wide enabler cards that Levia has, or that any Brute has, honestly. These are all generic Brute in like Pulping, Blood Rush, Wild Ride, Tear Limb from Limb, but we're also adding the Levia unique Go Again kit of Dread Screamer and Rouse the Ancients. Now this isn't really Levia specific. You might see this in some other Brute builds, definitely Guardians run it, but what Levia can do with this card is help Rouse the Ancients trigger off 4-card hands, where you can have a Rouse, a blue, a 7-attack yellow, which Levia has access to 1 extra copy in Deadwood Rumbler compared to just the Wrecker Romp as normal, and then a red 2-cost card. So when you reveal a hand like this, Rouse comes in for 7 Go Again. You pitch that yellow for then that 2-cost red. So we're really jamming all the Go Again we can. We're hoping to just constantly play larger hands than Levia normally does, which tend to scale back to like 3 or 2, and hopefully just deal enough damage to get across the finish line. And the last thing in this matchup specifically is some sideboarding decisions. So against a Briar, I've got this kind of flex package of different 6s I can bring in. We've got our greedy 6s in Cadaverous Contraband. We've got some of our control 6s in Command and Conquer and Erase Face. And I'm taking CNC against the Briar specifically because it puts a little bit more pressure on the Briar to actually block. It's a real hit effect you add to a deck that normally has none. And it might come up to just pressure Briar to play off smaller hands, which can be nice. So that was everything going into this game. It's a pretty hot deck, but what do you have for us, Yuanji?
Yeah, so I think everybody has played against Briar at one point or another. There's a couple different ways that you can build it. I think what I brought here today is a combination kind of the Belittle Briar that won the second Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. And some people have been trying this new card that just got printed in Dynasty, Crown of Dominion. And what it does is it lets you start the game with a gold token, and now you can use the gold token to play one of my favorite cards, Cash In, which lets you draw 2 additional cards from your deck. And it's a really powerful combination with the Belittle package. So why is Belittle so good? Because in a pinch, it can get you a non-attack, which you need for Rosetta Thorn, so it gets you 3 damage and a non-attack. Or if you need resources, it can get you the Blue Minnowism. And to pair with the Belittle, I have 4 different types of attacks that have base power 3 or less. I have Arcanic Crackle, which is just a pretty good rate, 0 for 4. Swarming Gloombill, which is a really good rate. Sometimes it can be 4 Go Again for 0 cost. Brandish, which is kind of a card that I think we got to play because it just has that natural go again. And you have an excess of resources sometimes when you're drawing additional cards. Mm-hmm. And Yinti Yanti, which is kind of like a pet card, but also is a pretty good rate if you do get the Earth Embodiment. So as your second attack or third attack, whatever, if you do make the Earth Embodiment, it counts as an aura, so it's also a 0 for 4. And some people are playing Overload. You can play that as well if you want more go again, people blocking less. I'm playing this because I think Levia has a good armor package, and sometimes like the 4 raw physical damage is going to matter more than potentially getting a go again. Other than that, you have like your standard Briar Earth blues plus Channel Mount Heroic, and then I wanted to talk about the sideboard cards that we have. My sideboard is actually pretty similar to yours, so we have the Erase Face and the Command and Conquers. I think these are pretty standard, just like depending on which hero you're going against. It depends like which hit effect is going to matter a little bit more. I think for Levia, I know that they play Blood Rush Bella, and some of them might play Barraging Beatdown, which care about brute attacks.
Even Tear Limb from Limb in this build.
Yeah, Tear Limb from Limb. So Erase Face, I am thinking is going to be pretty decent. Also, doesn't get just blanked out by Crown of Providence. And then we have defense reactions for matchups where we want to play a little bit more passively, trade a little bit more blocking against like Guardian when we are forced to block. And then this card, this round's on me, which was Majestic and Everfest. A lot of people weren't originally playing it, but it's pretty good against decks that go really wide, like Ninjas, Katsu, 5, both go very wide. And then so -1 power on all their attacks ends up being a pretty good sideboard card. And so that's what I'm going to play. I'm not going to be playing these cards against Levia. I'm just going to be playing the Erase Faces.
Well, I hope they don't come up into my exact Blood Rush turns.
Yeah.
But Yuanji, good luck, man.
Good luck. All right, so we're going to roll to see who gets decision.
Yep, and I'll take odds. Your call.
Evens. I will choose to go second.
Okay. I don't hate that. You definitely do have some hit effects that going second can be really punishing for because it demands blocks out of me first. But at the same time, if you go first, maybe you start with a free Embodiment of Lightning, a Rune Chant. It can also be bad for me. So let's take a peek. Ooh.
I don't know if I like the sound of that.
Not awful. We could get pretty greedy playing this now. I almost like those situations because it digs you closer to your next threat card. Plus, Briar without Embodiment yet probably is stuck on a couple 2 blocks. So we push through damage turn 1, or turn 0 rather. Yeah, we are going to do this.
Okay.
So Blood Rush is going to discard a card.
Yeah, I'm assuming these are both 6s.
Yeah, they're definitely both 6s. There's one card in here that's swaying me towards making this play. We'll see if it comes up. I'll choose discard.
Skullcrack.
Okay, discarding this is actually beneficial because this card here is what I can probably cheat through the most damage with this turn. So we'll draw 2.
Yep.
1, 2. These go here. Yeah, this might be all we do. I don't intimidate. I'm not Reiner.
No, these are all the cards that are going to block with.
Oh. We'll see if I let you do it. So Pulping's going to come in.
Well,
yeah, that was the decision why I actually pushed
for
it, because this might gain Dominate, and that could be huge. So we'll draw.
Okay.
Look for the discard. If I can cheat free damage in this matchup.
Cross my fingers.
I didn't even look at the card. Maybe I didn't draw 6.
Not 6. Oh, that's a 6.
So Dominate comes in for 8.
That's quite a lot of damage. Yeah. I mean, the best that I can do is block 3, so I'm going to block 3 on that.
You'll take 5?
Take 5.
Now this has go again.
Yep.
And I actually really lucked into good draws here. So we kept a blue. We'll go claw for 5 go again.
Okay. I don't hate that. I will block 4. I will take 1.
And then another 5 go again. Okay. So we go without Arsenal. But...
So I will block 2, and I will take 3.
Okay. Pass it over.
Did I do the math right? 5, 1, 3. Yeah. Should be at 31.
Whew. Take that for a turn 0. Don't hate it. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to
3, 4.
put a counter on my Tunic. I'm going to start off with a Brambly Spark, showing you a Tome of Harvests.
Yep.
And then I'm going to pitch the Tome of Harvests to attack with a Brandish. So this is coming at you for 6 with 1 Arcane.
Yep, 6 with 1 Arcane. So we're taking the Arcane for sure. You'll get your embodiment.
Okay.
No
Sounds
Arcane
good.
Barrier anyway. Blocking 6 right now.
Also, I keep forgetting because reset. One of the new cards from Dynasty, Crown of Dominion, lets me start the game with a gold token. Why do I want this gold token? Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe we'll find out. Interesting. I could take the off turn here, set up a really strong arsenal for a proper 5 card, or just take this 4 card hand as it comes, because there's a pretty good combo that I just naturally drew here. We'll say no blocks in this as well.
Okay.
Good to take 6.
Take 6. So that's interesting. Maybe I want to cash in this gold right now.
Well, you said cash in. Maybe you've actually got that card.
So I'm going to pay 2 resources, use the gold token to draw a card. So I'm closing the chain.
Not true cash in. I see you.
Draw a card. Okay. I will make a rune chant and attack with a Rosetta Thorn. So that's coming at you with 2 arcane, 1 rune chant, so 3 total arcane and 2 physical damage.
3 physical because of brandish. So it's actually a full 6 on the weapon side.
Oh yes, here. 3 physical.
And that is going to be another 6 damage I take. So we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then I'm gonna arsenal this card.
Sure. All right, seeing the gold gone. Yes, it was a lot of damage. I consider that a win because now cash-in's not the huge pop-off that it normally is. We'll see if this 4-card hand plays really nice. It might not, because that's what happens when you go berserk. You leave a little bit to just the
Ooh, okay, so maybe
rage.
the top can be, come on please, one time.
Here we go. Pay another 1 for a Blood Rush.
Okay.
Discard.
Yep.
Berserk trigger, banish.
Yep.
Reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Draw blue.
Okay.
Blood Rush.
Yep.
1, 2. Wow, that was very good. Berserk and Blood Rush are still active for the turn, so we'll leave those out just in case.
Okay.
Let's go for another 5. Go again.
Okay. My hand is highly speculative.
Let's take a look.
Uh,
See if the viewers speculate with you.
Yeah. This is probably one of your best turns.
Definitely.
So, and actually, because it's a little speculative, maybe I kind of just want to be blocking here. So in that case, I will first block 5.
Yep. We'll follow with another claw for 5. Go again.
Yep.
That's no floating, 2 in hand.
Yep. I will block with Yanti, which coincidentally also doesn't get buffed by the Embodiment of Earth, but because I have an aura, blocks 3.
That is true. So you take 2 on this one?
Yep, I take 2.
And then we're going to close out this turn with a wonderful, wonderful swing big here for 10.
Okay. That is...
You know, technically not optimal. If that was a Bare Fangs, I might have reset Arsenal with Berserk. But this is still 20 damage off 4. Can't hate it.
Yeah, I think it's better to get the, for sure, 3 on the block than to try to gamble for something. So I'm just going to block 3. I'll take 7.
Okay, we'll pass it over. No Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
See if we draw a dud with this kind of off-the-top game we're playing.
Yeah, Flesh and Blood is a pretty interesting game because you kind of want to, when your opponent is, I think, threatening their best turns, be a little bit more defensive. So my turn, I just, my embodiment goes away, I take my tunic, and I will pass.
Yep. Let's see what I got here. My Blood Debt was off, by the way, because the Berserk banished this Dread Screamer. All right, so...
That's a Levia hand.
We can try to just keep going off the top. I hate to play the game without like true Arsenal setup because Levia loves her small card combos.
Yep.
But we have another way to just... I mean, hey, keep going Berserk. It's in the card name, isn't it? It is in the card name. So let me just make sure. If this is the play we're making, this is also getting played. That's 0 floating. We know this is in hand. We'll see top 2, which is the discard plus Berserk trigger. So in a perfect world, that actually does work really well. But if one of those cards is bad, I'm still gambling because I'll have to opt one to the bottom. It's a lot of information, but I think I'm ready to still go for it since we've got the freedom.
Okay.
We're going to play another Berserk.
Yep.
Pitching Eye, so that'll trigger the Eye of Ophidia here. Let's look at top 2. Yeah, so this is the issue. We still play a bit of a gambling game. We're going to put that on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This on top. Yeah, because then we're just hoping that next one's a resource card. It's pretty likely for the deck. All right. Gamble gods.
Okay.
Let's go. Tear limb from limb.
Sure.
Draw. Go ahead, discard.
I'll flip this one.
Berserk.
Yep.
No Berserk. Very bad. This does banish, though.
Yep.
And then I simply Arsenal. Go ahead.
Oh. Saved.
The gamble play.
Oh, the gamble failed.
It did.
So my Arsenal card is not very good, so I'm going to start the turn off by playing a Tome of Harvest.
Well, at least you can get it out.
Get
Not
it
bad.
out of there. I'll draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And I just got to do a quick check on my graveyard. Okay. So basically, I'm surprised looking for how many Minnowisms I have played. Because my first play is going to be playing a Belittle.
Yep.
For 2. Coming at you for 2 go again. And part of the cost, I'm going to reveal another Belittle. And I think the card that I'm going to get is going to be... should have it. My blue Minnowism.
Okay. Coming in for 2, go again. You're already halfway through a Embodiment of Lightning. I know you have another attack that has go again anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This hand is a bit of a dud as well. I think we can start with a little bit of hand fixing.
Okay.
Bit weird because that's not a true hit effect, but I need more information on this hand because I might be blocking down with this. So we'll just block with Crown and then sink a card here in hand. Draw.
So I will break the chain. I'm going to play a red Minnowism from my hand, which will give me the Lightning Embodiment. That will buff my next attack with power, base power 3 or less.
Yep.
And then I am going to make a Rune Chant. With the 2 that was floating, and then I will pay 2 with the blue Minnowism, attacking you with an erase face for 6 with go again.
Yep, 6 with go again. The Minnowism hasn't triggered yet, but of course we know that last card, the yellow Belittle.
Yep.
So that's coming. Yellow Belittle into Rosetta is the whole turn we're looking at. We have a hand that does care about that brute keyword. And this does block the full 6, so we will do that. We'll toss Husk.
Yeah,
and
so
take
you take the 1
Chant.
Arcane.
Yep.
I'm going to attack with this Belittle for 5 go again.
Yep, and we'll take the full 5.
And then I'm going to use my Tunic as the last resource and attack Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2.
And we'll take the 2/2.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 17. Husk vanishes.
And should have done this one, the Belittle hit, but I get an Earth Embodiment when the Belittle hits, and that is my turn.
Okay. Once again, we are having to gamble a little bit, but that is just the way the deck is built.
I feel like that's the class, no?
It's this build specifically.
Okay.
You know, most of the time I don't play Levia like this, but this is for camera. And we saw the highs and we saw the very lows.
Yeah, the first couple turns are pretty good.
Okay, we're going to play another Tearlimb from Limb.
Ooh.
No starter Berserk this time. We'll draw a card.
Yeah.
Looking for the discard.
Okay.
Go ahead, pick one here.
What is the highest damage that you could buff on the Tearlimb from Limb?
In theory, the swing big, right? 16.
Okay.
So that does trigger the Tearlimb from Limb.
Yep.
Next brute attack is going to be doubled. We could get super greedy again and pitch this. I think it even just might be right because this card just will not line up. If we do that, then play this. It's a 50-50 on the discard. If this is what we get left with, that does suck for Arsenal, but in theory we can just use it for a claw. So yes, we'll do that. We'll then pitch the Command and Conquer for a pulping out of Arsenal. So
Okay.
in theory, 12 dominate. Let's see. In theory. Go ahead, pick the discard.
This one.
Beast Within. All right, we're doing the good things. So Beast Within trigger.
Yep.
I take a damage.
Okay.
Turns off Blood Debt. This goes to hand.
Yep.
16. This gains Dominate and the Tearlimb from Limb buff.
So it's
So it comes in for 12 Dominate. Of course, if you don't block with 2 real cards, also...
Yep, it will
again.
have go again. So right now in my hand, this is a turn for me, but this card's not doing much. However, it's also not that great to block with it because it only blocks for 2. So I think I'm just gonna block with my armor for 2. I get the feeling that it's probably not gonna be 3 more turns of me blocking this game. So I block 2 right now.
Take 10.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Then I'll pitch that Beast Within for a Claw. The Claw has go again.
Yeah, it's coming in for
That's
3.
just 3 go again.
Yeah. So probably... I don't think that you would play any 0 cost. Probably at most is 3 more damage coming in. Yeah, I think I am just say no blocks.
All right, you'll take another 3. Now the last decision I have to make is turn this into 3 right now or place an Arsenal. And it's not the strongest Arsenal. It doesn't actually line up with any cost curve for our deck. But having an attack at all is decent if we draw into that last Blood Rush. That'd be insanely lucky. But this is a 2-card play, is not very strong, so that means for us to get it out is off the back of like a better go again turn or rolling scabs. I think I am going to still place it there because we haven't seen a lot of these draw discards out of my deck yet. So there's a good chance those come up. Let's do that.
Okay.
Arsenal. And no Blood Debt from that Beast Within.
Yep, my tunic goes up, my embodiment goes away. My turn's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to make a rune chant.
2, 3, 4.
Play a Minnowism, red. That buffs my Swarming Gloom Veil. So my Gloom Veil, since I made a rune chant, which is an aura, will come in for 6 go again. With 1 arcane damage from the rune chant.
Yep, and we always take that arcane. It comes in for 6 go again.
Yep.
Not a real hit effect there, but if we do care about throwing equipment in, it'd be to deny the embodiment, which is relevant for how low on life you're getting. Because you don't have much equipment block. That's just 3 equipment block left. I don't think it's worth it. At the same time, we definitely don't want that card. Our turn is also just a mess of using scabs. That's rough. Yeah, I'm going to hedge that you don't have the snatch as that last card. I could be really wrong, but it looks so good for you here to just Rosetta and then... Or no, you haven't played it on attack. Or you did.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah, your turn looks so good here to just be Rosetta Arsenal. So I think I'm going to play it greedy again.
Okay.
And we'll block 6.
Sounds
Scabs, Skull, Swing Big.
Yep. I'm going to use my last resource and attack with the Rosetta for 2 arcane and 2 physical damage.
And we'll take all that.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Arsenaling this last card.
Yep. Okay. So unfortunately, we're forced to play into Scabskins with this hand. It is such a huge payoff if it hits. Pretty unplayable if it doesn't. We don't have Gamblers in this matchup because we opted for that extra block being important, which maybe it is. You don't have that embodiment, so if I do hit on this, I'm presenting a lot. We're going to do it. Roll Scabs. And that's off the table. We'll roll again.
Okay, you get
Does
2
hit.
action points.
2 action points. That is huge for this turn. Absolutely huge. First things first, let's start with the Boneyard Marauder.
Okay.
It's going to leave 2 float, come in for 6. 6 is a popular number. It's going to banish 3 as cost.
Yeah. I'll take this one.
Not going to pretend I was
this
hoping
one,
for 5 or 6. But it
and
would've been
this
nice.
one.
All right, that is Blood Debt off, and Blood Debt now at 4.
Yep. Usually when you're trying to evaluate how you want to play your hands, maybe just like see... I'm probably going to do a lot of blocking this turn, so it's probably better to just get the cards out. That being said, I think I block 5 here on your 6, so I'll take 1.
Yep, that's right. So this is one of the reasons I blocked with equipment, so you don't gain the extra bonus there. So you're taking 1. Then I'll follow up with a Bare Fangs.
Okay.
So Bare Fangs has this ability, draw discard. Let's see if it hits for the extra +2. It does, so this all of a sudden goes to 8.
Yep.
And that will be the end of my turn, presenting 8 here.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty unrealistic for me to keep a hand to creepers. So I'm going to throw everything at it. 2, 4, 5. I'll block 5 on your 8. I take 3.
Yep, and then I'll pass it over, no Blood Debt. Okay, so the way the deck's built, we're supposed to chain a lot of Go Again together. We saw a hand with no Go Again, so hopefully this one has a bit of it for us.
I'm just going to attack you with a Snatch for 4.
Snatch for 4. Yeah, so there's nothing you can do with that card draw. What you're doing here is just presenting a good rate of 0 for 4. Additionally, threatening that embodiment. So it's up to me whether I want to block with this card plus these scabs, basically, to deny the extra health you'll be able to protect with embodiment. I don't think that's worth it here. I'll save it for when the draw actually matters. So we'll say no blocks on this 4.
Okay, sounds good. So you take 4, I get an embodiment.
2, 3, 4.
I'll draw a card, and I can't do much, so I'm just going to pass and draw it back up to 4.
Cool. All right, so we did find the Go Again like I was talking about.
Maybe Go Again.
Okay, yes, to be fair, maybe. These are probably 6s though.
Yeah, but that one's...
This one might not be. Let's see. I did peek it this time. Normally I don't. I like to leave it to chance. Okay, go ahead, pick a discard.
That's bad juju. Okay.
That is Go Again on this Wild Ride.
Okay. So I'm going to block, I think, with these 2. So they get the buff from the embodiment. I'll block for 6 on your 6.
Yep, that's right. With the Go Again, I will pitch into a Mandible Claw. It has Go Again now because I discarded a 6.
Yep.
So 3 Go Again.
So at least I know 3 more is coming, so I'm going to block 3.
Yep, and then actually saving this in Arsenal does line up with those wide turns I was talking about. So then we'll come in for another 6 here, and this will turn off Blood Debt for the turn. Actually, I might have needed to close the combat chain first to guarantee 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're closing the combat chain first.
Okay.
That is a little too many misses for comfort. Normally in this deck, you're not playing with that many in the graveyard, but I did see those Berserks, Tear Limbs, and Blood Rushes, which I'm grateful for, to be fair. Okay, go ahead, pick 3.
All right, I'm just going to... 1.
It's a miss.
2.
That's a hit.
3.
Okay, perfect
Ooh,
hits for us. That turns off Blood Debt.
Yeah, I have to block, so I'm just block 2. Take 4, go to 1.
Yep, and then I will Arsenal here and pass.
My turn is pass.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't turn this into a claw swing there, otherwise might have been worth the push.
And my hope is now that Ethan draws a Levia hand, it does 1 action, does not turn off Blood Debt.
Those are Levia hands. I could draw another 4 cards, play everything, and then pass like that Tear Limb from one turn. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
However, we found the 1 resource card we need to pop off King, so we did it. To increase our odds of making sure this does hit, we could lead with this. We could also just try this here, because if it hits the 6, that is just game. If it misses, we take 4 Blood Debt, but we keep this in Arsenal to go wider. You still are down 2. We're down to 3 with no equipment block. Yeah, let's get, greedy with it. We might just end the game right here on the
So if
pulping.
you hit the 6. We took another peek. That's bad luck.
Yeah, I did. It definitely bad luck this time. Not gonna lie. 1, 2, 3. Go for it.
Ah, you got it.
And there was a miss in that hand, Yuanji. I just top decked that.
I can only block 3 on your 6, and so that's the game.
Good game, my friend. Well, that was a pretty interesting game.
What a game.
Yeah. Levia deck popped off, and then it didn't.
Yeah.
Briar deck kind of consistently did the same thing without spiking high with channel mount. But at the end of the day, with the ups and the downs that was this game, Levia still squeaked it out. So I hope that was fun for you.
It was a beatdown.
It was without actually having to play barraging beatdown.
But not a savage beatdown.
Well, you know what was not savage at all actually is this turn I want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of a funky one because I had this weird situation come up where I was playing off of a 4-card hand. Let's switch the view here. I was playing off a 4-card hand that looked something like this. Right, and I'd already had a really strong start. Those blood rushes were swinging hard. I was really gaining a lead for myself. But I encountered a hand that I could get really lucky with or just play really bad rate with and just come in like a 2-card hand for 7 and then arsenal like probably the Berserk in this kind of situation. Or I could try to get really lucky and actually ensure that I have better odds to even make this kind of play because I was leading with an Eye of Ophidia and try to lead with this Berserk Eye of Ophidia into Tear Limb from Limb, knowing that I had at least 1 2-cost 6 in hand. So the reason I went for that line is because there is a pretty reliable line in this deck where if this is what you see, with this opt effect on Eye of Ophidia, you'll be able to try to better guarantee that the top of your deck looks something like this, where you have another 2-cost red, which is pretty standard for the deck, or rather 2-cost anything, and then a resource 6. There's a lot of yellow 6s in the deck, not as many yellow blues. But what I was trying to do was make sure the top of the deck looks something like this, so that when the Tear Limb from Limb drew, no matter which it discarded, I'd be left with a 2-cost 6 in hand. And then the other reveal here from the Berserk would draw me the resource card, and I'd be able to come in with this hand for, I mean, maybe like 14 damage off 4. It's pretty decent. Right, it would have bought me a lot of room to just keep playing aggressive, but instead that turned into do nothing because Berserk didn't draw, and I just went to Arsenal, and that was it. So it felt like a big momentum loss, but I just took a bit of a gamble. You know, it is a Levia deck, and it is a deck that's built to be a bit more greedy than normal, so I felt like it was right to make that play, but I don't know. I probably should have slowed down. I still won the game, but I would be wary making more plays like this in the future.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about, I had one hand kind of towards the end of the game, and I think this is a great thing for players when you're making decisions on whether or not you should be blocking. So I think I said during the game that I wasn't sure I had a 2-block that like I don't really want to block with, and then I could just arsenal it instead because I have 10 damage with the Rosetta Thorn with these 3 cards. That's a pretty good rate. So I probably wasn't going to block with any of these cards. I don't think I had an Earth Embodiment at the time, so these would all be like 2 blocks. For sure I want to throw 10, but it's a question whether or not I want to block with 2. I'm not entirely sure if it would have mattered at the end, but I think that when you're making the decisions, oftentimes you have to like question, like if this was a 0-cost, then for sure I should arsenal it, because I can always get to play it. But then you ended up just like keep having really strong turns afterwards, and I was forced to block my whole hand, and probably would have been better to block 2 off.
Yeah, I mean, the Erase Face as well, you value that hit effect a lot in this matchup, and I think you're right to do so, because I've got those 2, kind of my biggest push cards in Blood Rush for sure, and even Tear Limb from Limb, like it can be in this deck, really, really hate this card. So at that point in the game, I believe I'd also lost Husk already. And so, yeah, it's definitely, keeping that card around always becomes a scary thing. I was just fortunate to just keep sequencing the go again after go again after go again, which to be fair is like, it's how the deck's supposed to be built. So we just caught our stride, especially after that Scabs roll, and just never let up. But hey, it's a Levia deck, so not every game's going to go that well. Not every turn is going to go that poorly. Maybe that turn spikes and the whole game just looks perfect. But there's ups and there's downs, and that's one of the reasons I really love this hero, because you're playing with fire. You're always in the hot seat. It's really stressful. Pretty fun game, Yuanji. This opportunity is all yours, man. Where can people find you? You're a great player. A lot of people can learn from you.
Thanks. So I am on YouTube channel called Fable Hunters. So there, Saint Hung and I are mostly focused on the collecting aspect of Flesh and Blood, and trying to just like any like news that comes out, sometimes we'll go over it. As well, I'm on Team Runaways. We're releasing content slowly. We're hoping to be a little bit more consistent on that end, so make sure you subscribe to both YouTube channels, TCG Runaways, Fabled Hunters, and keep watching. Hopefully you can crush your ProQuest now
yeah.
with this deck.
Well, you can always find me, Mansant, on YouTube. See you in the next one.